subscribers. This is your host Ram on Cricket Show, Cricket Happenings. And on this particular cricket show, I'm going to have a look at the Australia versus New Zealand game, which going into the third day is quite interesting. With New Zealand still, the Aussies 416 all out, but New Zealand are still fighting, but they are absolutely struggling at the current moment. 109. Labuschagne actually, as you know, from Labuschagne, joining two Aussie greats. One was McCartney, probably in the year 1920s, I suppose. 1931 is going from strength to strength. There's no doubt about it. He's actually penciling himself as a future player for the Aussies. Well, and New Zealand, as I said, were really struggling at the end of the day. They were, and then we look at the, as you know, England are in South Africa to play a series of matches. And well, the teams have been named for the T20 version, I reckon, and T20s are something which are going to be seriously looked at right now. As you know, the T20 World Cup, mark you, cricket, New Zealand were reduced to 16. So I will just have a particular game on the as to what's happening in that first Test match, and then we'll have a look at some cricket. Some news coming in that Dwayne Bravo has decided to come out of retirement, and that World Cup coming in. Dwayne Bravo feels that the West Indians definitely has the firepower and the nuclear, and he says that his coming in would also strengthen the side, and that's the precise reason. So we are looking at that. So let's start off with the Australia-New Zealand game. We are talking about the first Test match. So the Australians were the ones who batted first. This is a day-night Test match which is happening, as you know, with a pink ball under lights, which has become common nowadays as far as Test cricket is concerned. Day-night Test cricket is really taking over, as we all know. And so said, this bloke is really growing. Is growing from strength to strength. 143, and whenever he has scored big. 143 with 18 fours and 1 6. Had a struggle initially, but slowly got over it. Confidence increased, and there he comes with this capital knock of 143. And Stephen Smith made 43. 43 apiece to Shane or David Warner, and then we had Travis Head. Definitely. He's someone who has not been able to get to the three-figure mark, but nevertheless, he played a good hand here, 56 with 10 boundaries. Payne making 39, was definitely in some pain as well. He was hit on this anatomy. Cummins making 20. They shared 8 wickets that fell with 4 wickets apiece, and 1 wicket apiece to Colin Gilgrand, who on day 2 of the first Test match. At the WACA ground in Perth, were really struggling. They were reduced to 109 for 5. They didn't have a good start. They had lost both their openers pretty quickly. Just talking about it, it was Tom Latham was the first to go of the bowling of Mitchell Starc. Very pacey delivery, especially in the this was in the first over of the New Zealand innings. Where the ball really had the cherry was absolutely new, and one knows that with the new cherry with Mitchell Starc bowling, the ball will come at a great pace, and in fact Latham wanted to actually wanted to work it through the leg side, but instead the ball took the shoulder of the bat, and the ball popped up in the air. With Mitchell Starc taking a catch. So Tom Latham was out for naught. The next wicket to go, Jeet Rawal, the other opener, knew nothing about a wonderful delivery from Josh Hazlewood. It he was tested before this delivery by angling the ball across him outside the off stump. But this particular ball was a full swinging delivery on the line of the leg stump. He wanted to just flick it away through the square leg region, but there was a huge gap created between the bat and gap, and the ball went and hit the middle and leg stump. And G. Travel was gone bowled by Hazelwood for one, and the New Zealand were in deep trouble at 2 for 1. Sorry, 1 for 2. After that, it was the steadying of the ship, which was done by Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor, who really gutsed it out there as they slowly started nurdling the team total from 1 for 2 to a bit of respectability with a 76 runs partnership, and the score had reached 77. And at that time, what a superlative catch taken by Stephen Smith in the slip region. He was at second slip. Kane Williamson tried to actually cut a delivery, just moving away from him, and Williamson cut it. But one could have reflexes and quick reflexes of that. As he held the ball, he was absolutely in the third slip when he took that catch. What a superlative catch, which saw the back of Kane Williamson. And we know Kane Williamson, what a thorn he can be. But so Kane Williamson was gone. Cott Smith bowled Stark for 34 with 7 boundaries, and the score read 77 for 3. Ross Taylor was doing a very good job. He was really is the one who was holding the fort there. And we saw Henry Nicholls come in, but Henry Nicholls, after was in fact dismissed pretty quickly, as he was the ball was probably not a delivery that Nicholls should have really gone at it. Actually, this was a straighter delivery, and he wanted to flick the delivery, but instead he flicked it, but it was just an edge, which carried down the leg side to Tim Paine, who took the catch. Nicholls was gone, caught Paine bowled Stark for 7, and that made the score 97 for 4. And with only Watchman was sent back for a golden duck by Mitchell Stark, as it was a full swinging delivery to the night watchman Neil Wagner, and there was a bit of late swing as well. And Neil Wagner had his everything stuck to the crease, and the ball actually found its way into the stumps. And so at stumps after that, BJ Watling came out, kept the bowlers away with waiting there at the wicket with a knot of 8 deliveries. Ross Taylor was holding the fort, not out of 66. 8 for the played. Probably as I'm talking to you, probably resuming the innings on the third day. New Zealand trailed by 307 runs. The bowling, Stark was one who actually just ripped through the New Zealand batting attack, as he had figures of 11 overs, 1 maiden, 31 runs and 4 wickets. Josh Hazlewood, that was a big blow for the Aussies, as Josh Hazlewood, after bowling 1.2 overs, 1 maiden, and picking up a wicket of G. Travel, could not bowl throughout the whole day, and that was pretty sad, as that really left the Aussies a bit crippled. But despite not having Hazlewood, they had reduced the Kiwis to 109 for 5. That's a great effort. Cummins had none for 34. Wade was given a bowl, which was very surprising. Matthew Wade, 2 was none for 8. And Nathan Lyon could not get much purchase out of the wicket. 7 was none for 35. So that was the match situation as far as the second day's play was concerned. South Africa, for the tour of South Africa, T20s are something which are gaining in importance, which will dawn and be played in Australia. And one really is looking forward to look here to see what has happened. So the big guns are back. Butler, T20s against the team to the T20 World Cup. So Joe Root, as you know, is not a very aggressive, but I think I would rather go with it. In fact, England have players. Just talking about it. And the other thing that we see here for the Test matches has made his mark here. Is come back into the league. Jason Roy comes back into the white ball cricket. So that is the news that I can give you. And from the New Zealand tour, as we know, Tom Banton, who played in the T20s, made his debut, has been given a nod for the 50-over cricket for the first time, and that is something he would be definitely looking forward to, where he would get his time to play his strokes. And Tom Banton didn't do much against in the New Zealand tour. Pat Brown is there. Pat Brown gets his place back. Saqib Mahmood and Matt Parkinson have all been given. These are the players who are getting their first opportunity in one-day international cricket. The other thing, as you know, we saw Sam Billings, James Wins, and Lewis Gregory be on the tour of New Zealand. But I have to say, unfortunately, the Sam Billings, James Wins, and Lewis Gregory, who did not really get a game, probably just got a game where he had to swing his bat. I do remember that in the England team. And David Morgan will captain the side. Just wanting to see the selections. So we are going to have a look at the selections by the England audience. Saqib Mahmood, David Mallon, Matthew Parkinson, Adil Rashid, Joe Root, Jason Roy, and Chris Woods. That's the concern, which has said gains a lot of importance, keenly looked at with the T20 World Cup coming up. Morgan will captain the side. Moeen Ali gets his place back. Joe, Pat Brown, Sam Curran, the Curran brothers now are definitely making a place in the England squad on a permanent basis, which is good to see. Joe Denley, Chris Jordan, David Mallon, who is a very good David Mallon. Yes, David Mallon is definitely is a very good aggressive, interesting. Adil Rashid, Jason Roy, Ben Stokes, and Mark Wood. Mark Wood does not find a place in the ODI squad, but he's got his place in the T20 squad. So this is something that I just wanted to touch on, which I've already done. Now we'll have a look at some cricket news that's offered. He, as I said, he feels that this West Indian team right now has a lot of firepower, a lot of talent, and he feels that he would like to definitely, be a part of the West Indian squad in the T20 World Cup. Contribute in all the three departments of the game. He plays the Big Bash League as well, and he plays in all those leagues out of retirement, according to me. The other thing, the Mazansi Super League, who is a good hitter of the ball, as we all know, today put up a good all-round performance to take his team, Swan Spartans, into the Mazansi Super. One against West Indies. The news is not good. They have lost Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has been ruled out of the ODI series. So now India will have to look at three bowlers who could be jostling to take the place. It would be very important for Ross Taylor to carry it forward, probably play a big knock, and BJ Watling to really show what is coming. There's still some batting to come. Granholm is still come. Santner can bat. I reckon if at all the Kiwis have to whittle down the lead and see to it that they don't concede big lead. Definitely a partnership of blokes, BJ Watling and Ross Taylor. And I think the full hopes would be resting on these two players. And the Aussies will be fresh. The ball, new cherry, new pink ball. It would be it's an old ball basically. So definitely, unless there's no dew factor because it's a day and night. It's not starting in the morning. So I think I would rather say that New Zealand players Taylor and Watling could take this opportunity to actually put up a big partnership. That'd be interesting to see. So, well, dear fan subscribers, having said that, I think it's time for me to wind up between New Zealand and Australia. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it's good night from me here on my cricket happenings. Thank you.